All right, guys, let's jump into the back nine out here at the Beast in Waco. All right, so we got hole 10 to start off the back nine here, 591 feet, par 4, and this hole, pretty much just a pipe dead straight, whatever disc you think you can just finish straight. The misses on this hole you really want to avoid are hyzering off left, takes you into the crap with literally no shot, and you have no chance for a birdie. That's kind of the dead zone, we call that. If anything, you want to turn to the right, and even if you hit a tree or go in the bushes on the right, you at least have a chance for a birdie. On the left, if you hyzer out and saw it off, you're cooked, no chance for birdie. So I'm gonna throw an onyx, an ESP onyx, just kind of trying to throw it dead straight. Trying to throw it pretty much into that Y tree. If I land right behind that Y tree, I'm totally fine with it. It's just kind of a scramble for birdie from there. So a little bit of left to right, so the discs are gonna push a little bit more right than they normally would without wind like this. So let's see how the onyx flies. So pretty much I just hit the Y tree like I exactly wanted. So that's pretty much the shot, that exactly shot that I want. Even if I hit that middle tree, I'm fine with it. It's in the middle and I got a 250, 300 foot shot to the green. Now I'm gonna try the Scorch. This has been a fun disc I've been messing around with. I don't really know the stability of it, so I'm not sure if it's gonna hyzer or turn, but we're gonna find out. Okay, so it's flippy. That's what we know now. As you can see, it turned straight over, so I didn't know if it was going to be stable or flippy, but now I know. Try Vulture. This one's going to be a little bit flippy, so I'm going to have to put some hyzer on it to get it to not flip over. Okay, so that's going to land straight and flat. So yeah, I mean, that's not, I threw it right into the ground, but that's still birdieable from there. So that's kind of the thing about this hole, is it's not about the distance, it's just about hitting the fairway, giving yourself that chance. If you're off left or right, you have no chance most of the time out here. So accuracy is much more important than the distance out here on this course. Through the onyx, pretty much perfect. We're framed up for a throw-in, so we got to go for it. I mean, I know the risk that if I miss it, it's going to go flying by 40, 50 feet in the bushes. But let's try to throw it in for fun for you guys. Oh, crap. How did that not go in? All right, we got to go one more. This one's got to be in. That's crazy. I thought that was in for sure. Drop. Oh, all right, come on. Frustrated, you gotta throw it in. Now I gotta go punt from the bushes. Oh, gotta try to have some fun with you guys. Throw it in here and there. No, you can throw a backhand too. Sometimes I feel a little more comfortable throwing sidearm on shots with, just because I can look at the gap and see where I'm throwing and going. But yeah. Now you guys can see what happens if you miss a shot on the Pro Tour that you're trying to ring up when you should be running it. You get taken way back here into the bushes. But we'll try to save the putt. Not that we have much of a putt, but we find a little slot here and there. Oh, almost. But yeah, this is why, exact reason why you don't run stuff, is you're gonna give up a stroke when you shouldn't. Almost lost my one of my favorite putters for being stupid and throwing it 80 feet long into the crap out here at Waco, and luckily we found it. Joey's a genius, spotted it in the crap. But that's hole 10. Don't run the basket, we know that now. All right, hole 11, 278 foot par 3. We got a sloped upslope. I'm gonna throw the zone just to kind of come in soft to this green. I don't necessarily like throwing a driver just because it's gonna come in fast, hit the slope and kind of bounce and roll, just because that's kind of what happens on this hole. So I'm kind of trying to take this left gap just right of that leaning tree with this zone. Just kind of slide up into that face of that hill. Even 25 short of this basket is a good shot for me, just because I don't want to risk rolling on the drive. Oh, I hit it, okay. So that was the last thing I thought about, was the tree, so that's probably why I hit it. All right, I'm gonna throw a couple more discs. I'm gonna throw the TI zone on a similar shot like that, just a little bit more flex, and it should hyzer off of that tree, which that last one didn't. There we go, that's money right there. Should skip up, just like that. Oh, hit the pin. All right, so hey, I know how to I gotta throw the TI zone. I'm gonna try this one, the jawbreaker again, but the TI looks to be the play. Clunk. Yeah, that tree's, both those Guardian trees are like, if you don't throw it absolutely perfect, you're gonna clip those a lot of the time. So yeah, once again, this hole, just like a lot of the holes, if you don't throw it absolutely perfect, you're gonna clip the tree and not even get a birdie putt. So this course can be birdie or die, but also can be, you know, a lot of pars if you're not careful throwing really good shots. Because if you hit one of those trees and drop, you're gonna have an 80, 90 foot death putt, where if you hit and roll, you're taking a bogey. So a lot can happen if you don't throw good drives. Definitely a thrower's course. You really wanna just get yourself a lot of looks at birdie and get through a lot of these tight gaps. All right, so the second TI zone that got through kind of hit this upslope and kind of stopped right here. But as you can see, I almost planned my shot to not hit this hill and give myself the chance to roll away. I'd almost rather just land down there a little bit farther away from the basket, but not giving myself the chance to roll up here, hit a limb or hit a root and roll into the bushes and have a completely blocked birdie putt. So sometimes attacking the pin isn't necessarily the most high percentage shot. Yeah, it might be if the result wise, if I hit and stop like I did that one, but I like to play the percentages. Maybe on a hole like this, play 20 short, make the putt. All right, hole 12, we got a 609 foot par 4. I got a stack of discs because I'm not super sure what I'm gonna do here. I've always thrown a driver on this hole, but I have the zone now, which is almost like, it's like a faster putter. It's like right between a putter and a mid-range. And so I feel like I could throw a zone and it's not gonna risk going too far into the bushes, because that's kind of what happens a lot to people is they throw it too far with a fast driver, hit the bushes and drop and have no shot coming into the green for the second shot. So if I throw a zone, it's gonna not quite get to the bushes, but still get me into the fairway for a good second shot in without the risk of penetrating into the bushes. So I'm gonna try the zone, just try to see where it lands me. I really think it might be my kind of cheater disc for this hole. See, that's a little bit too tight. Try one more. I'm gonna go with my Raptor Shield, the freaking ESP zone. This thing is so clean. But yeah, this one's probably my most stable zone in my bag right now. So I'm just gonna try to penetrate it through the gap and just fade to the right. It's kind of a feel shot. I know exactly what I wanna do just by looking at the hole. So I'll know. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I wanna do. I love that, that's great. High, fades back to the right, should be somewhere in the middle of the fairway. I think the zone's gonna be the play. I'm gonna try one more zone. See if I can't get a collection in the middle of the fairway. That's a little bit wide. So yeah, that second one's kind of, as you can see, the shot's super particular. If you're not in the perfect spot, you're not gonna really be able to access the green. And yeah, so you just kind of gotta dial in that feel of the shot, the angle, the speed, everything you want to kind of take you into, there's like a 10-foot circle that if you land in that 10-foot circle, you can throw a second shot, pretty high percentage, get yourself a putt for 3, which on a hole like this, one of the more challenging par 4s out here. I feel like I'm saying that a lot, but all the par 4s are super challenging. I think the par 4s are a lot more challenging than the par 3s, I would say, out here for sure. Just because there are a lot of placement shots where if you miss the shot at all, you have no chance to get a birdie. It's just a scramble for a par from there. So that's why I say it's such an important course to be throwing good tee shots, a thrower's course. You know, obviously you have to putt well too, but throwing well is the #1 most important part of scoring well out here at Waco. I always surprise myself at how fast these zones fly. It's a putter, but it almost feels like it's like a mid-range with the speed. It's just it's almost faster than a putter. It's crazy. So this one was a great shot. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening with these zones, is I'm pushing and getting the glide and getting the distance, but I'm not necessarily risking going too far straight into the crap here. So this is exactly what I was hoping would happen. So, all right, so second shot, I landed. This is probably the 10-foot circle that I'm talking about. Obviously that shot up there is great. That was my overstable Raptor Shield zone. So that got up there way far, and that's probably ideal because you're throwing a smooth Annie. This one's a great shot as well. A lot of variables on the second shot. Everything goes right to left a lot more than you think. It looks flat, but you're actually going uphill and you're fighting the hill. So what's gonna happen is everything's gonna wanna stable out. So you wanna make sure to throw it a little bit higher, because if you throw it low, it just wants to hit the hill and kind of cut roll. So you wanna throw a little bit higher, a little bit more understable, a little bit more turn, just to counter the fact that everything's gonna kind of suction to that left-hand side. So I'm gonna go with the buzz saw, a little bit high. I'm really just trying to get on top of that flat. Anywhere on top of that flat is probably an inside 50, 60 foot birdie putt, which is really good on this hole. So as you can see, if I hit any of these guardian trees, it's gonna kick filter left more than likely, pretty much an automatic bogey. So this is a shot that takes a lot of focus and really making sure you hit your gap, hit your line, hit your speed, all that. So that's exactly the shot that I want. So I don't know if the result with the result, that might have been in. No, it might have hit the tree, I'm not sure, but the shot shape, obviously a result oriented. I'm not a result oriented player. If I hit the shot, hit the speed and the line, everything that I want, then I'm happy. You know, obviously, you know, I want to get through and I want to get birdie putts, but I know that if I hit those consistent lines, I'm going to get the results I want. So I'm going to throw one more here. Let's see here. So I'm going to throw a super beat up Z Buzz just because I'm kind of on this right hand side tucked. So I want to try this Z Buzz out, see how it flies. This shot, it looks like it's in the fairway and better, but I'd actually much rather be on this left hand side because this tree pushes me left and then it risks hitting this next tree behind it. So a lot of intricacies. You know, the shot changes completely if you're 5 or 10 foot right or left. So that's the crazy part about the course here. So yeah, that's a nice disc. As you can see, I threw it right side. That should be about a 40, 50 footer, something like that. But it's hard to park a shot when you're that far. The angle is a lot worse than you think. It looks like you're in the fairway, but that first shot, the first zone, was way better. Farther back, more left, but it just has such a more open angle of attack to the green. This one, it's more like cut off. You have to throw an ante. You can't really penetrate and park it. You have to kind of just throw what the trees are forcing you to throw, which is like an ante. And doesn't necessarily take you all the way to the basket. You just got to be content with a 50 footer from there because there's just too much risk trying to throw it an inch from this tree and try to park it kind of thing. The buzzsaw on the second shot was freaking absolutely perfect. I parked it, bullseyed it. One of the harder holes out here, that would be the exact way you want to play it. Zone, buzzsaw, tap in birdie. But yeah, the zone put me in the perfect spot to where I was even able to set up this nice buzz shot. So that's what I'm gonna keep banked in my memory, trying to do that in the tournament. All right, this hole is awesome because it doesn't force you to throw one specific shot. You can throw forehand up the left side, up the middle, and then left center. There's kind of just 3 gaps really. And you can throw backhand roller. Probably one of the most diverse holes out here just because of the fact you can throw so many different shots. I'm gonna try up the middle first, just with an ESP Venom. Just try to blast it up there and give myself the easiest 3 possible. So this left tree is kind of, you just want to start a disc on that, kind of ante it through the gap and just really hit the gap and get yourself down there. If you hit the initial gap, you should be able to get yourself a high percentage birdie look. A little too much turn, but we'll see if it comes back a little bit. All right, might have hit is it safe?
Yeah, it's
okay.
on the grass.
That's awesome. All right, so barely safe. This one, throw the Z Swirl Force. This one should be a little bit more stable than that Venom. Yeah, so it's got a lot more stability. Shouldn't be risking the road like I did that first one. That's almost got a putt at it. Try one more. This one, purple one's a little bit more flippy, so it should have a little bit more glide, a little bit more carry. There we go. That looks real nice. Oh, did I hit something? What did I hit? A limb? Okay, I was invisible after I threw it. But yeah, I like this middle gap just because it gets you way down there, gives you the highest percentage. If you hit the gap, you're gonna have a 150, 200 foot upshot. Should be a birdie every time. My Tour Series Force definitely got a lot closer than I thought. We have a huge tailwind carrying them kind of to the basket, so that's something to keep in mind whenever we're playing this hole in the tournament. If you want to be aggressive, you can actually probably go long OB just because of the way the wind's carrying, but gives us a good chance to get the eagle putt. Give us the chance to do something fun for the crowd potentially. Oh, gotta make one of these. There we go. There we go. Got a little gallery, that's always fun. But yeah, 1 out of 4, eagle chance from a drive like this, not bad. With a little bit of wind here in Waco, but yeah, I like it. There's multiple par 4s out here you can attack for the eagle. Never know, maybe you'll drop one in here and there. All right, hole 14, 303 foot, par 3. This is a gotta get birdie. I'm gonna go with the zone, of course. I think I've got like 6 zones in the bag this week just because I'm throwing them on so many holes here at Waco. So short course, that means throwing the zone a lot. So I'm gonna throw a jawbreaker zone. This pink one's my newest, most broken in one. So got a little bit of left to right, so you wanna throw a little bit flippier than you normally would, just to kind of counter the fact the left to right wind's gonna take it a little bit more right. So just kind of try to throw it dead straight, kind of a flex shot. I'm almost trying to throw a turnover, dead straight turnover shot with this zone. Just like that. That's pretty much exactly what I want. Let's go dead straight. That should be about a 20 footer. No risk on that hole. I almost hit that tree on the left-hand side, definitely obviously don't want to do that, but yeah, don't want to risk going right. I think that's the mistake, and that's why I'm countering it by just kind of throwing it left. I don't want to keep it on hyzer and risk going in the road on the right side. That's might go in the hole. All right, that's perfect. I love it. So, hey, we got the zone. It's a good disc. We get a lot of birdies with it here at Waco. All right, so we're up here at the green. Kind of got, as you can see, a little bit of right to left slope. We got the right side. It's normally not in play. Only thing really in play is kind of long. If you go get too confident, throw too good of a shot. But both my zones are here, you know, 15 feet or so. So not much to really work with as far as a putt, but just threw a good enough drive to get the tap in birdie. But yeah, throwing the zone. Dead straight, kind of in that 20-foot circle to the left of the basket is my landing zone. All right, hole 15, we got 558-foot par 4. Once again, a drivable par 4, which is kind of, I would say there's like 3 of those on this course now, but kind of cool. We have this box in the middle where it forces you to either lay up or go for it. We got a tailwind and we got the distance, so we're gonna throw a shot over their head and try to get an eagle putt. Let's do it. So we got over the OB, we got a putt. Let's try one more. That one's probably about 50 short. This one we're gonna try to throw a little bit harder. So we'll do that again. A little bit too much turn. 4. Hey, we're safe. Accidentally laid up, that's funny. I threw the go for it shot and landed in the layup zone, so that's pretty funny. But yeah, this hole is obviously a classic Waco hole. It forces you to make a decision whether you wanna go short or go for it. And the power throwers can definitely reach it, but also there's that risk that if you go OB, you're getting a par, whereas most people, if they lay up, they're getting that birdie and gaining that stroke. So something to think about, whether you go for it, whether you lay up, you really have to make an educated risk-reward decision in your head. And I think I'm gonna go for it. I like my chances. I might get an eagle probably once or twice, potentially, and offset the potential par if I get one. So we got our drive. Landed here about 30 feet away, not bad. This is a great drive. Take this every day of the week. We got a little bit of tailwind helping us out, so it gives us that little bit extra distance. Don't have to throw it 100% to kind of get the distance on this hole, but a little bit of a crosswind. And it can stop us from getting the 2, baby. Hole 15, risk reward. Oh, flop out. Venom, that's the eagle disc. All right, hole 16, we got a 609-foot par 4. Lots more OB, kind of more of a pinch point. Force you to throw kind of a layup instead of the kind of lazy go for it shot, which was in the past. I'm gonna go a Raptor and just try to throw, looks like a 300-foot shot, just kind of dead straight, a little bit left-hand side to try to favor. Something like that or two more farther? That's fine. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can hang right out a little. Okay. Right? Try one more. Looks like the course pro Calvin told me to throw a little bit further, so. All right, sweet. We threw the layup here on 16, kind of this left side pocket's kind of where the layups are gonna go. And now it's just kind of a speed control shot into the green with the zone. Something just like that. I should slide up to about 10 feet, so don't really need to throw an extra shot after that. That's pretty much all we need. And this machete landed right here, so yeah, kind of a 20-foot circle where you wanna land. That sets you up for a nice upshot into the green. And yeah. Really, there's so much OB that really forces you not to really want to go for it. So kind of makes it a little bit more challenging. Whereas in the past, it just used to be a blast it all the way up here and then just chip up a putt and get an easy 3. So I think you'll see a little bit more separation with all this OB than you would without the OB. All right, that's the jawbreaker zone in the upshot. You know, kind of a point A to point B, somewhere inside the circle, try to make a putt. Try to make this hole as simple as possible, and take all the risk out of it by just kind of throwing chip, and taking your risk on a separate hole where you can gain some strokes. This hole is just more about getting that 3 and move on to the next hole. All right, hole 17, we got a 610-foot par 4. I like to go forehand. That's kind of the stereotypical play on this hole. I'm gonna use that yellow kind of lift as like kind of my reference point. If I can throw a shot just at that and kind of fade right into that kind of crooked tree area, something like that, that's kind of the shot that I'm going for. Got a little bit of a right to left wind that's gonna push us a little bit more than we want, so I'm gonna throw a little bit of hyzer flip on it. And this hole is just kind of about distance control. I wanna go past that crooked tree a little bit. I don't wanna be in it because it kind of sets up a tough shot. I wanna go a little bit past it and set myself up kind of an easier upshot into the green. So that looks like it's gonna go right into that hill, kind of killed my speed. So not the best shot. I threw it just a little bit wide, hit that upslope and kind of just didn't give me the skip and speed that I want. So I'm gonna throw a little bit higher on this one just to go a little bit more around the corner and get a little bit more skip. There we go. That should be much better. Should be a little bit, hopefully it's okay. So it got a straight skip, so that's all right. I like when I get a little bit of a straight skip because it doesn't necessarily go right. You don't want to be short right, it kind of cuts off an angle into the green. But yeah, we'll go up to those two. I think I want to get a little more distance on those. I didn't throw them either one of those high enough, but we'll go up there and throw a second shot and go from there. All right, this is kind of exactly the shot that I did not want, was to go through this tree. I know that I want to go a little, probably 20 feet more, because that opens up the second shot where I have a lot more open airspace. Right now I got to basically throw it through the tree, way more tight, way more technical. And I know that if I throw a little bit further, I'll just kind of eliminate the fact that I got to throw through a gap. So, but right now I'm gonna throw through this gap, a little bit of flex shot. I'm gonna throw a Z Flex plastic Raptor, just because it's a fast green and I know that a disc that's this soft is gonna hit and absorb the ground and not wanna skip. And I don't wanna skip too much on this green because I wanna favor that right-hand side, which can be OB if you get too much of a skip. So Flex Raptor on a flex line. So that's good. It's good to the safe side of the green. So it didn't skip too much, but yeah, that's kind of the play. I want to play to that right side, 30, 40 feet right, just to kind of eliminate going in the water. Make sure that's not an option. I'm just going to throw one shot on this one. I don't want to, tough green up there, lots of water, lots of OB. I don't want to lose a good disc before the tournament. All right, this week's green preview is a well-deserved hole 17 out here at the Beast. We got a lot going on. We got this water on this left-hand side. We got the OB line just off the water. And a lot of shots are going over the water, so you want to naturally go, if you're thrown over the water, you naturally want to favor this right-hand side, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the play because the OB comes in off the boards. That's another thing with this hole. The OB is another couple feet off the board, so if you hit the boards and drop, you're out of bounds. My shot here is in this safe zone. This is kind of the area that I would like to land. It's kind of about 25, 30 feet right of the basket, takes that water out of play, doesn't bring in as much this OB line on the right-hand side. So like I said, forces you to kind of go on this side and have the death putt back at the green, but not too much hills, but the variables are the water and the out of bounds make this hole tough, and the wind. Right now we got, let's see the kind of wind we got. We got a head crosswind, which is tough because it's hard to tell if it's gonna lift it or if the headwind's gonna drop it. Obviously I have a little bit of a nose down putt, so when I putt in a headwind, my putt naturally wants to drop. But if we got this crosswind right to left, it sometimes wants to lift. So it's just kind of put it in the middle and hope to get not too much wind action on it. Okay, that's good. That's exactly what happened. I put it right at the middle and didn't get too much action. So that's good. That one dropped a little bit. So we'll come straight, a little bit higher. Just gotta trust it. On a putt like this, it's hard to trust it because if you aim a little bit too high and get a lift, you're right in the water. So you kind of sometimes gotta fight your urge to not putt it high enough when you have a putt like that. You just got to be confident in your putt, confident in your release, and drill the putt. All right, hole 18 is a great finishing hole here at Waco, 468 feet, over water pretty much the entire way. You're having to throw at least 440, 450 just to clear the water. Obviously, the further right you go, the more open it is, but the farther of a putt you're leaving yourself. So it's kind of a risk-reward shot. It's not kind of, it is a risk-reward shot. We got a huge headwind. So it's gonna play close to 500 feet in this wind. This hole can change drastically, 100, 200 feet difference based on headwind versus tailwind and how far it's gonna play. So today we got such a big headwind that I can't even go for it. It's just not really smart. So I'm gonna just throw a machete. That's kind of my 250 kind of just controlled hyzer right to the ground, and then throw a second shot into this hole. So that's kind of my shot there. That skipped way too more than I thought it was gonna. But that machete is kind of my disc that normally doesn't skip like that. That's surprising that it skipped like that. But just my throw it 250, throw it inbounds. That's kind of the disc that I reach for on a shot like this. There we go. That's good. Should just kind of spike down, nothing crazy, skip up and kind of just plop right there. So that's kind of the shot that I'm going for. Obviously, if it's not windy, I'm gonna go for it. But if it's windy like this, it's kind of, your percentages just aren't good to reach the green and get yourself a putt. Just might as well play for the 3. All right, so wind depending on this hole, it's gonna basically turn into a par 4 essentially, where it's a 2-shot hole if there's enough headwind, which obviously there's enough headwind right now to where I'm not gonna wanna go for it. And so yeah, I'm gonna throw a zone, probably got a 250 shot, something like that. And once again, a huge headwind. So I wanna throw past the basket, throw my stable Raptor Shield ESP zone. And I wanna go a little bit past the basket, kind of take that water out of play. So I'm gonna try to air about 15, 20 feet long and take the putt. That might be a little bit too far long, but we'll see. Oh no, that's good, okay. Parked. So that's kind of what I told myself, is I wanna go 15, 20 feet long, and I parked it. If I try to park it with a headwind, a lot of times they actually wanna blow back into the water. So once again, 15 to 20 feet long in the basket is kind of my aiming point. That one might actually go that far. Okay, that went a little bit too far, but still not bad. 20 circles edge long. Once again, you'd much rather be safe. I just like throwing the shot a bunch. That's gonna be in the water, looks like, probably, hopefully not. Yeah, so that's exactly why you don't wanna try to park this hole, is because if you throw it a little bit too nose up, it just looks like it's going to the basket, goes straight up, and then the hill just takes it right into the water. So I'm not really too upset with that shot, the last one, just because you learn from it, and I learned exactly why I'm not necessarily trying to park it. If I park it, that's great, but at 20 feet long, no problem with that. Takes the slope out of play and the fact that you could roll back into the water. So once again, these greens are tricky if you're not careful, if you're not controlling all the angles, the nose angle, the speed control, the distance control, all that stuff. Super important on every shot. If you get lazy like I just did with that one, you're just gonna cost you strokes. All right, so this is the kind of the ideal landing zone if if it's really windy and you're not trying to really, get too aggressive. Obviously this is not exactly, I don't want to be this far long. I'd much rather be 20 feet, a lot more higher percentage putt. We got like a right to left sketchy putt with this crosswind, but missed it, didn't get enough lift. As you can see, I'm thinking my putt's gonna lift because we got this tailwind. My putt, the way the angle is, nose angle, normally that putt lifts up in the air, so didn't really quite get the wind lift I thought I would. But yeah, that's kind of the sweet spot on this hole. 20 feet long, take that putt, and you'll be good to go. You'll score well. Thank you guys for tuning in this week at Waco. We'll see you next week in Austin.